Our project is called WikiEnvironment. It was made by Shoria Chhabra, Raymond Huang, Chris Cow, and Shreyas Nair. There have been so many crazy events in the world recently, from the start of the pandemic to now. With all of this, it is very easy to get caught up in these events and forget the one thing that we always take for granted, which is Earth. Especially in the past few years, climate change has become extremely evident. Just last week, we saw record high temperature heat waves in all regions across the globe, including Europe, Asia, and North America. In fact, according to the UN, we must reduce our carbon emissions by over by 2030 in order to help stop global temperature from rising 1.5 degrees Celsius over pre-industrial temperatures. We created a wiki environment in order to help inform people about these changes and provide news, information, and advice on how to help stop these events.
What does Wiki Environment do? Environments are capable of telling the weather, climate, air quality, and carbon dioxide levels in the area, informing the user how the climate affected the people living in the city, an experience that changed the climate forever in the area, and information about relief organizations helping to reduce the change in climate and how you can help your environment. How did we build Wiki Environment? We use the Django framework with Python, JavaScript, HTML, and CSS. Well, the website backend is built with Django. It makes an API call to gather weather data and scrapes the web for relief organizations near the chosen city. Given this information, the backend code dynamically generates tips in inclement weather and loads embedded websites. The front end displays the information utilizing Django templating, and the spinning globe in the background was modeled and rendered in Blender, a 3D modeling software.
So some of the challenges that we ran into were that, well, the biggest issue was that we initially wanted to create a globe so that the user could click anywhere on it and get information on that given city. We tried to create this in Three.js with Webpack to link it to our backend, but unfortunately we ran out of time and were unable to do this. However, we still managed to include a globe onto our website and set it to a website background by making a globe animation in Blender. Furthermore, as many of us never used Django before, the file structure was quite confusing, and at times it made it difficult to actually link files from one program to the next. And since many of us did not know HTML or CSS, it was quite hard to get the embedded resources from formatted nicely, but we eventually got it done. So some of the accomplishments that we're proud of are that we created a relatively aesthetically pleasing, dynamically generated source code website. We frequently use organization websites relevant to any city in the world, and we utilized our widespread knowledge of various resources and combined them into a.
So what we learned how to use the Django, how to make API calls, how to use JavaScript, HTML, and CSS to format our website nicely, and how to model and render 3D objects in Blender. So what's next for our wiki environment? We hope in the future we can get the Three.js Globe to work, and we would also like to improve our web scraping results to return more relevant results.
So this is WikiEnv, and here we can start your search, and on the bottom here we have tips and weather. It just tells general information about what WikiEnv is. So for example, I can search for Shanghai, and it'll tell me the weather in Shanghai, tell me that it's nighttime right now, and you can see that the air quality is actually quite fine in Shanghai. It has an air quality of 2, and the air quality is based on a scale of 1 to 6, where 1 is good and 6 is bad. So in Shanghai, the air quality is actually relatively fine. And then right here we have dynamically generated Wikipedia, in which is linked directly to Shanghai's climate. So then if in case, for example, if the user was not from Shanghai, they can learn a little bit about what Shanghai is like. Like for example, here it just says, summers are hot and humid, and occasional downpours or freak thunderstorms can be expected. I didn't even know that, or the user might not even know that. So that's something that the user can learn. Then, moving down, we see relief organizations that the user can donate to and learn about, with one embedded website on the right here about those relief organizations, and on the left there's other organizations too, and this is all dynamically generated through web scraping. Then the user can also learn more about climate events and other disasters relevant to China, for example. So if we search, for example, Delhi, on the other hand, you see that the weather in Delhi isn't quite good. It has a carbon footprint rank of 3, in which carbon footprint rank is ranked based on where the lower the number, or the higher the number, the better the carbon footprint rank, because with the carbon footprint rank of 3, that means that they're the third largest carbon footprint, which obviously isn't good. So, other than telling us the air quality isn't too good, since it has an air quality of 4, it also gives environmental tips on, for example, limiting consumption of meat, using public transportation, and the likes, to reduce carbon footprint. Lastly, if we search for Jakarta, for example, we can see that air quality is 5, which is a little dangerous, so the website warns you about this, gives more environmental tips, and it even gives you a news story on like the Mount Semeru eruption, which the user can learn about, that happened in Indonesia, and even donate to support this disaster recovery. And to go back to the home, we just click on WikiEnv, the link, and this is hyperlinked. So thank you for watching.